Hi, it's Jan Shegda with Clarity Coaching. I work with individuals and groups to be at their best through personality work and coaching. And today we're talking about the best way to select a board. So the reason it's important to take a moment and think about how you're selecting a board is that if we're left to our own devices, we tend to select people that we like, that we naturally have a connection with, or that remind us of ourselves. So that can create kind of an unbalanced team. And while individuals don't necessarily have to be well-balanced or well-rounded, it's ideal for a team to be. So here are my 3 tips on the best way to do this. So tip number 1, be clear about what you are bringing to the team. What are your strengths and weaknesses? How do you add value? And whether you're the chairman of the board or just on the board, on the team, it's important for you to understand that. Number 2, once you understand your own strengths, you want to make sure that you're filling in the gaps so that all other strengths are represented. And I think the easiest way to do this is with personality work. So I'll give you an example of how you might do this with the 3 assessments that I use. So for example, with the Myers-Briggs, you want to be sure that you have someone from each of the 4 dominant temperament groups represented. So you want one person from the SJ group, the Guardian group, and that just means that they have S and J in their 4-letter type. If you're unclear about the temperament groups, I have other videos that will tell you all about them. But so you want one from the SJ group, you want one SP or artisan, you want at least one NT or rational, and one NF or idealist. So there's only 4 groups, so depending on the size of your board, it should be doable no matter what. If you want to use the Strengths Finder instead, you would do the same thing, but make sure each of the leadership domains are represented. So you may know that there's 34 strengths on the Strengths Finder, but there's also 4 leadership domains. And so everyone gets a top 5 list of strengths, but usually they have 1 and maybe 2 leadership domains that are strong in those top 5 strengths. And the 4 leadership domains are executing, influencing, relationship building, and strategic thinking. So you want to ensure that on your team you have someone that's really strong, really dominant in at least each of those 4 areas. And I can tell you that the influencing category is often, it's the rarest, and so it can be the most difficult to find. But it's essential that you have somebody with those skills on your board, because those individuals are great at getting the word out, getting people on board, and promoting whatever it is that you're trying to do. So that's how you would do it for the Strengths Finder. For the Enneagram, certainly it'd be ideal if you can get one of each 9 of the types. But what's more important, I think, or more essential would be to have each of the centers represented and each of the instincts. So with the centers, there are 3 centers, head, heart, and gut, which make up the 9 types. So the way they break down is 2, 3, and 4 are in the heart center. You'd want at least 1 of each of those numbers, 1 of the head center, which is 5, 6, and 7, and 1 of the gut center, which is 8, 9, and 1. And then you also would want 1 of each dominant instinct. The 3 instincts are self-preservation, social, and sexual. So you want 1 person that has each of those dominant. So after you've done that and put that board together, knowing your strengths as well as the strengths of the others, the third thing to do is come together around a common set of values or ideals. So with any group that's diverse, you need to have something that's bringing you together, and hopefully that's the mission of whatever the board is that you're working on. But it's important to get really clear about what it is that we want, what we're here to do, and have something that's kind of the glue that everybody can connect to on that board. So those are my 3 quick tips of how to select a nonprofit board. I'd love to hear what thoughts you have, what's been effective for you. Leave me a comment, send me a message, and we'll see you next week.